Okay, so in this episode, I'm going to talk about how to insert or add assets or images to your Flutter application. So I'll start by going here, and then so now let's see this. You see, they are all in the same folder. All these folders are in the root folder. Okay, so outside this, I'll just right click outside here and then go to new folder, and then I'll create a folder called assets. Now this asset is not in the lib folder, it is outside. So I create asset, and then inside the asset I right click on the asset and then go to new folder, and then I'll say images. Okay, we want to add images. That's what you're looking at now. So we create asset folder, and inside asset folder we create another folder called images. So quickly let's do this. I have pictures. So I have some pictures here. So just drag one picture to this images folder. So when you open the image, okay, let me add another folder so that this will become easier to understand. So let me say font. Okay, I'm only using the images folder. Okay, so with this we have this image. I'll just rename it and say image 1. Okay, so we want to display the image here, right? We are done with this test, so I can just delete this test. So we have image. Okay, that is the name of the widget. Okay, but where are we getting the image from? So as you can see, it is in the asset. Now one thing about assets is that asset files, or the files you put in your asset folder, they are bundled with your application, so you cannot delete them or add to them after you build your application. They become part of your app. Okay, so something like your app logos, banners, your custom images and all that you want to put in the app, so they are built together with the app. You can't delete or edit them afterwards. Okay, they are static. Same way if you had to put videos or songs or whatever you are going to put in the asset folder, they are built together with the app. They are compiled together, so you can't singly delete or modify them in any way. So let's look at this image widget. So this image widget takes this methods. We have assets. That means the image you are going to add is coming from the assets, okay, internally from the app. If you choose file, that means the image is coming from a file the user has picked from his or her phone. Memory is a unit 8 list memory object. Okay, I will not even talk about that to confuse you. And then we have network. That is when the image is coming from over a network or from the internet. Yeah, something like that. But as you can see, we have our image in asset folder, so we just choose asset, and then the name. So the name, we just put the name there, and this thing has already given us let me just turn this thing off. So the name is image1.jpg. now if we save this, oh, the app is not even running, so I'll just quickly run the app, and I won't let you wait. I'll just pause it till it's done, and then we continue from there. Okay, so as you can see, our app is running, and then I added this asset. I removed the test and then I placed this image there. So we have unable to load assets Let me zoom in on this. Unable to load asset images, blah 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 blah. Okay, now why is this thing happening even though the image is correct and everything? This is happening because we've not added the assets to the pub spec. This file, I say, is one of the most important files in your entire project. So you come to all the way down here, you are going to see asset. So just uncomment this line. To do that, quickly let me turn screencast on. So to do that, just Control/. Okay, now it should be in line with this. Okay, they should be in line, and they should be under Flutter, so they should be in line. Even if it's shift by a space, you see you get an error, the whole thing is wrong. Okay, so it should be in line. And then when you have assets like this, I won't touch these ones. The next thing is to go down. So when you press enter to go down, you are going to specify the folders in which you want to get your assets from. Okay, so you press the tab key, it will move your cursor here. You press dash and then you press space, and then after pressing the space, you can type the name of the folder there. That is images. That is this folder. Now when you type images, there are two ways. We can just continue like this and then put the name of this file there, that is image1.jpg. So when we do this, only this file is going to be present here. Even if we have multiple files here, only this file is going to be visible to our app. But if we want all the files to be visible, we just have to delete it and then leave it like this. Okay, so you save and then your project will get the packages offline. And am I correct with this? That's it directory. Images does not exist. Oh, sorry, the folder is assets dash images. I think this one too doesn't exist. Why? Okay, so this is assets, this is a tag. Okay, but then this is actually the folder. So we have the assets and then the images. So this is the correct way to do it. If you just want assets, that means you are not going to put it. Okay, let me just skip it. So you are referencing this folder and then this folder under assets. You can name this anything, but whatever you put here should be the first name here. Okay, and then the child folder. Okay, so putting the backslash here means that every file in these images is going to be available. If we have font and we want to include fonts too, we go the same way, assets and then font. And then if you put our font in here, everything inside the font is going to be available. Okay, so we do it for each respective folder. We are looking at images today. Okay, so as we have done this now, then we can now go back to our main.dat and then save. Now the whole thing will hot reload and then our app okay, it's not appearing. So assets, oh, so it is in images. So assets, images, and then image one. So you see when I saved, the image automatically appears. Okay, so this is basically how to add assets to your Flutter app. Now there are a few things we can do to this thing. We can add custom things like width, the weight of the image. We can say 200, and that's going to be like 200 pixels, but then the image will resize accordingly. So if we don't want that, we can also state height like 400 for this, and let's see. So it doesn't work like that. So to make it work, we add a property here called fit. That is how the image is supposed to render or appear. So it takes this value, box fit. Okay, so box fit, we have several values. The first one is contain. So contain simply means that you should resize the image to fit into the container in which it is stored. So to do this, I'm going to wrap this inside the container. Okay, so that let me put it inside the container, and then let me give it a color so that you can see exactly what I'm trying to do. So this is the container, right? So if you say the image height, so weight to be 200, this is the weight 200, and if you say height to be 400, this is a height 400, but then this is the actual image. So if we say contain, the image will resize itself to fit proportionally into a container. Now if I'm to say 200, I save, you see what happens. It is still fitting the image. Now let me change this and then make it something like, the next one is cover. If I say cover, it is going to crop so that the image fits the dimensions we have given. You see this is 200, so it crops to fit the dimension. If I say 200, 500, this is what happens. So it crops the image to cover that dimension you have assigned. Okay, I hope you are getting it. And then let me just make it 400 so that, yeah. And then if you go to Gideon, open your eyes. So if you go to the next one, which is fill. Okay, so this simply means that it fills, let's read, fills the target box by distorting the source's aspect ratio. So this will just stretch the image to fit the dimension. So as we saved, you can see it's a stretch. It wants the whole image to appear, so it will appear all right, but it will stretch it so that every part will appear, okay, to fit the dimension. So if I'm to change this one to, let's say 600, so you see the image stretches. Let me say 1000. So we will get an error because it's longer than, okay, probably. But then that is basically what the fit does. So we go to the next one. That is fit height. So if you say fit height, it will stretch for the height to fill, so all the remaining parts will be cut away. Okay, it just wants to make sure that the height fits the dimension we've given. And then if you go to fit width, it will just try to fit width. That means there will be spaces at the top. Okay, it just stretches to fit the width, so there will be spaces at the top. I think that's all. And then none means it's not going to apply anything, so it will just resize the image to fit the box. The whole image will be centered, and it is centered on the crest. We have scale down. Simply means, you should reduce the image to fill the box in which it is placed. So this is basically scale down. So this is some of the things you can do to image. I mean, there are lots of there are lots of here that we can do to these images, but then we will be looking at them as we go on. Okay, like color blend mode, filter quality, alignment, color, opacity. Okay, let me quickly look at opacity. Opacity is, opacity. So if you say something like, by default it is 1. Okay, if its opacity is 1, that means the image is fully visible. Oh, I should use animation. Okay, I'm not doing this thing again. Okay, so that's all about images, right? Thank you.